Alright guys, so after all the talk, after all the money spent, Nikki Haley this and Nikki Haley that, I guess reality has finally set in. As expected, it wasn't even close, even with Nikki Haley essentially campaigning to get Democrats to vote for her as crossover voters. Donald Trump took the night in Iowa, and so obviously the next states will follow. Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee. From my perspective, the presidential election is on at this point. It's Trump v. Biden, and it's already getting quite interesting. There's a couple things I want to talk about as we get the first glimpse into the Trump campaign. Let's have a conversation about it. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so Trump wins the Iowa caucus in historic fashion, finishing with more than 50% of the vote.
A big win here tonight for the former President Donald Trump, even though it was a smaller voter turnout in this record cold caucus night, but still an unprecedented win for Trump. Former President Donald Trump winning all but one of Iowa's 99 counties, following a call to action to his supporters to show up no matter what, and they did.
And already it seems like things are falling into place. Republican presidential contender Vivek Ramaswamy already dropped out of the race, and he's officially endorsed Donald Trump for president.
As of this moment, we are going to suspend this presidential campaign. And this is going to have to be, there is no path for me to be the next president absent things that we don't want to see happen in this country. And I'm also making the decision that this has to be an America First candidate in that White House. As I've said since the beginning, there are two America First candidates in this race. And earlier tonight, I called Donald Trump to tell him that I congratulated him on his victory. And now going forward, he will have my full endorsement for the presidency. And I think we're going to do the right thing for this country. And so I'm going to ask you to follow me in taking our America First movement to the next level.
After such a messy primary season, with all the infighting that we've seen from different Republican cliques warring with each other on Twitter, I'd say the hope is at this point to unite behind the candidate under the common goal of defeating Joe Biden, undoing the damage, and hopefully steering the ship away from the path of communism. Vivek and other Republicans already getting behind Trump. DeSantis and Nikki Haley should drop out soon here, and they've both already pledged to support the candidate who comes out on top of the primary, and so it seems as though we're headed towards a path of unity. And that's really where things get interesting here, because Democrats, I think, have been banking on the chaos. They want the Republican Party to look extreme, dysfunctional, crazy. They want to keep highlighting all the Republicans who keep warning about how dangerous a second Trump term would be. They want that to be the focus of conversation, but it seems like the Trump campaign is trying to get ahead of it already. Donald Trump's speech had a tone of reconciliation.
Well, I want to thank everybody. This has been some period of time, and most importantly, we want to thank the great people of Iowa. Thank you. We love you all. What a turnout, what a crowd. And I really think this is time now for everybody, our country, to come together. We want to come together, whether it's Republican or Democrat or liberal or conservative. It would be so nice if we could come together and straighten out the world and straighten out the problems and straighten out all of the death and destruction that we're witnessing. That's practically never been like this. It's just so important, and I want to make that a very big part of our message. We're going to come together. It's going to happen soon, too. It's going to happen soon.
And at first I was a little bit worried. I mean, what came to mind were some of the talking points that we had seen from the Ron DeSantis faction throughout the primary season, that Donald Trump just doesn't have it anymore. He looks depressed and defeated. Where's the energy, right? I thought, well, obviously that's going to be a talking point attributed to this speech. And the second thing that came to mind was maybe it'll be perceived as fake by some people, that Trump is simply acting and faking this sort of toned down attitude. You know, that's the worry that came to mind initially in terms of viewer or voter perception. But then I realized that actually it doesn't matter. Like I usually do in instances like this, I gave my father a phone call. He's my general litmus test for somebody who's relatively apolitical and, can be convinced either way, a sort of persuadable voter. And I asked him how he perceived Donald Trump's speech, and his response was he thought it was great. It doesn't matter if it comes off as fake or political. I mean, politics is all theater. The importance is the tone, a tone of reconciliation. As we saw saw throughout the 2020 election with all those focus groups that we analyzed at the time, independent voters, in a way, if I could just describe it in layman terms, find Donald Trump a little bit scary. Ooh, the spooky, scary orange man. What they want to see is a toned down Donald Trump that isn't as shocking or offensive to them. Well, it seems like that's the opening Trump strategy. And that, of course, on the backdrop of the sort of martyrdom surrounding Donald Trump as the Democrat-infiltrated judicial machine attacks him with full force from all directions. Well, I think it has this effect of sort of humanizing him. Look, it's my perspective, but going into the 2024 election, I think a strategy of sort of humanizing Donald Trump could be the best option here. It's why I'd love to see him on the Joe Rogan podcast, just having a conversation openly about interesting ideas and tough topics. The more Trump becomes relatable or, even vulnerable in a sense, I feel like the more people like him. That's kind of what happened in 2016. The media kept going on and on and on that he's a Russian plant, a Manchurian candidate, a racist, every ist you could think of that I can't say on YouTube. He's the worst thing ever, and then you just see him at the rallies connecting with people and being a chill dude, for lack of a better term. Like I always say, the contrast between the two is one of Donald Trump's political superpowers. And so the thought is right now, if he becomes the unity candidate, possibly able to deliver on the job that Joe Biden promised he would. Joe Biden said he was going to be a president for all, then of course coined the term ultra MAGA, 6 months later, complete clown. If Trump could actually come in, genuinely wanting to kind of reduce the temperature in the nation and extend olive branches in some cases, where applicable, of course, not the corrupt lunatics weaponizing every institution of power they could possibly get their hands on, I think that could be a winning message. I think that could be a good thing. I think Trump could be the unifying, restore the nation candidate. And that's where Democrats, I think, kind of might be in trouble in a way. They don't have that with Joe Biden. Joe Biden can't frickin' brush his teeth. They're not going to be able to sell a vision like that, when obviously Trump can. And if that's the narrative surrounding Donald Trump, meanwhile, MSNBC, last week, was warning that if Donald Trump is elected, he could turn off the internet and turn the military on the federal government, launching a full-on coup d'etat, ending elections and American democracy as we know it. They're acting like lunatics, and then Donald Trump's just touring the nation with a unifying message talking about the economy and basic common sense foreign policy. We could possibly be seeing a repeating of the exact same scenario we saw back in 2016. Interesting strategy, and I think it's a perfect time to test it. Right off the primary, get people together, test this sort of messaging early. There's still a whole lot of time in the campaign. If it ends up being a little bit lackluster, then, get spicy again. Or maybe the whole time, just a little mix of both when it's appropriate. If Trump plays it right here, the Democrats might be headed to plan D, E, or F. Of course, they've already exhausted ABC, mostly to no avail, but you get what I mean. We might be seeing some more Democrat panic. Or, of course, more fairly put, uniparty, Washington panic. But of course, being nonpartisan is no fun. Actually, I take that back. Screw that Democrat panic. I'll leave being nonpartisan to all the people studying journalism. I am not a journalist. I'm just a random dude who talks into a microphone. And so let's just wait and see. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.